Okay everybody, here's our quick little video explanation of the content rubric for Unit 1C, with the essential question being, when is it time to break up? Now, for our first section here, in the first criteria, you need to focus on losing money. Basically what you're trying to say here is it worth separating as a nation due to losing money. Now, when you look at the American Revolution, you're probably going to be thinking about taxes, and more taxes. Some specific ones you could think about, starting off with the Sugar Act, looking at the Townsend Act, the Stamp Act. You could go beyond that, and you could talk about other different types of taxes as well that are all included. Now, you could also mention other things that cause people to lose money. For instance, the Tea Act, which led to the Boston Tea Party, that was caused by colonial merchants losing out on their ability to sell because they gave an unfair advantage, let's say, to British merchants through the British East India Company. That's something else you could include in this section. Just make sure you focus on this idea. Is it okay to lose some money without starting a rebellion, or when you start losing money, and you can choose how much money, should you decide to leave and form your own country? So should the colonies, with only the consideration of losing money, should that have been enough for them to say, we need to separate, we need to start a war, and we need to get our own? That's section 1. Section 2 here, on losing your freedoms. When you think of the writs of assistance and what they did, that is an example of an instance in which people are losing their rights. Now in this situation, you could say they're losing their right to privacy, and that's going to cause them to lose out on some things there that are really important to them. You could focus on something else though too, like the intolerable acts and losing a lot of freedom. Each of the intolerable acts causes people to lose some freedom. It's just a matter of how much. So look at each of the 4 of them, think about what the freedoms they're losing, and make a decision on that. And then finally, physical harm. When you look at what occurred in the colonies, do you think the physical harm was enough for them to say, we need to break up, we need to start a war, and cause more physical harm? But it's time for us to separate. You could focus on the Boston Massacre without a doubt, and the other one is Lexington and Concord. This is what I would say would be a really important one, and the fact that Britain's coming over here actually to seize people's weapons, and there is a fight over this. So talk about the deaths that occurred here, and are those deaths enough to warrant causing people to want to separate? So, in other words, let's look at this really quickly. Losing money, is that enough of a reason to separate? Losing your freedoms, is that enough money or is that enough of a cause to separate? And physical harm, is that enough of a cause to separate? And when you look at the scoring here, you have to have a lot of strong, accurate supporting details to get a 5. Having a few will get you 4, and having not too many is going to get you 3. Make sure that you also have a clear connection to the essential question, or else that automatically drops you down to a 3, because this no clear connection is really one of the big things that drops you down to a proficient grade on this assessment. So there's our quick little run through of this assessment in the content rubric. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.